junior, 11th grade. Ballin' on automatic start. I can hand it to Drake or do a quarterback draw. Wildcat offense, check the paw prints. We in the building, it's an apartment. Now come on, be my blood donor. Flow so nice, you ain't gotta put a rug on her. Do it big and let the small fall under that. Damn, where you stumble at? Nobody big gumbo at. You ain't got to be jumping like a jumping jack. But you know me, I get on this bitch and have a heart attack. Get my hands on harder than. Nothing short of that. President Carter, young money, Democrat. Let's tell me how you love it. You know you ain't the type of no to have this right above me. Shut money, motherfucker. If you ain't running with it, run from the motherfucker. Alright, got somebody show some money in this bitch. And I got these with me like some honey in this bitch. I'm only my food person.
AM at ThunderValleyResort.com.
Don't miss our Made in the USA sale.
Naturewood Home Furnishings has always carried Sacramento's largest selection of American-made furniture, and it's all on sale now. The absolute best living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, mattresses, home office, and more.
Save in every department.
And we're proud to offer so many choices during this special sale. Naturewood, you know, the building with the water wheel.
Tell them Brooklyn and Nova sent you.
Heads up if you're traveling north.
The Living Spaces Memorial Day event. Save big and get what you want fast with free next-day delivery. From fresh bedroom and living room collections to dining designs for easy entertaining, there's a special piece for every space. Enjoy special financing and pay no interest for 3 years on select purchases with your good credit. Don't miss these exciting limited-time deals only at the Living Spaces Memorial Day event.
You may suddenly crave one too. And that's normal. It's more than a drink. It's a McDonald's drink.
Right now, get 20-piece Chicken McNuggets for just $5 and pair it with a medium slushie or frozen drink for $1.59. Try flavors like our new Tropical Mango Slushie or frozen Fanta Blue Raspberry. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Gun Maverick, and it's now the #1 movie in the world.
Outstanding.
It will leave you cheering. Yes! And is the ultimate summer movie experience.
Damn right.
Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick, rated PG-13.
Name brand products you love at amazingly low prices? Stop by your neighborhood grocery outlet. This week, get your snack on with Kraft Mozzarella String Cheese. 24-ounce packages are just $4.99. That's a savings of up to 50% versus traditional grocery stores. Also, enjoy Ocho Organic Chocolate Bars. 1.5-ounce assorted varieties are 2 for $1. A savings of up to 75%. Offers good through June 7th.
Grocery outlet, Garden Market.
Like Thunder Falls, Double Dare, Storm Rider, and so much more. Space is limited, so get your Sunsplash passes online at golfland.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of being on the water. And then if you're lucky, you might hear this. Either way, nothing beats a day on a boat. Hey, it's Tom Bailey, and if you've been thinking about getting a boat, then come to Auburn Outboard Marine's 41st anniversary celebration this Friday and Saturday. Auburn Outboard Marine in Loomis, the region's #1 Honda Marine dealer, has been getting people on the water for over 4 decades. In fact, I just got a great deal on a new Alumacraft with a 100 HP Honda Marine outboard, and you can too. Come see their full line of Alumacraft and RH fishing boats, Berkshire pontoons, Marlin boats. Want to learn how to catch rainbow trout, kokanee, and landlocked king salmon? Catch a fishing seminar from local guides. There's going to be fun for kids. Coast Guard's going to be on hand. And as always, Auburn Outboard Marine has a huge accessory and tackle inventory and the best Honda Marine outboard inventory anywhere with a lot of special prices this weekend at their 41st anniversary celebration. Friday and Saturday, 9 to 6 off the I-80 Penguin Road exit. Get a full list of activities at auburnoutboardmarine.com.
CMA New Artist of the Year, Jimmy Allen. Live in concert, July 31st, 5 p.m., Sac Waterfront Festival. Country music's hottest rising star. Special guest, Neon Union. On sale now at stconcerts.com. That's stconcerts.com. Brought to you in part by Budweiser and fellow wines of Clarksburg. Produced by ST Productions.
With an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-873-8161. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-873-8161 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-873-8161.
Summer style essentials, like 50 to 60% off all designer suits for an effortless touch of cool. 40 to 75% off fine jewelry to complete any look. And get ready to jet set with Tag Ridgefield luggage sets, just $74.99. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up for free at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply. Of all that water everywhere, only 0.5% is fresh water available for human use. That's why at Moen, we're innovating to save 1 trillion gallons of water by 2030. Discover Mission Moen at Moen.com.
Our $6 smokehouse chicken meal is a juicy half chicken served with mashed potatoes and a honey butter biscuit. All that for just $6, but not for long. Churches, welcome to the great state of flavor. Offer days.
Unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT. Plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink. All for just $5. That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're gonna feel when you get that Biggie Bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price of participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Johnny?
Clarice, I must see you.
Oh, Johnny, gas prices are too high to go anywhere. I'm afraid we'll never be together.
It's not true. Just use the free Upside app and get real cash back on every gallon of gas you buy. We can be together, Clarice.
How could the Upside app help us be together?
Upside users can earn hundreds of dollars in cash back. Our love cannot be stopped if we use the free Upside app.
I'm downloading the Upside app right now so we can finally be together.
Saving money on gas doesn't have to be dramatic. Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code 2022 for an extra 25 cents per gallon or more cash back on your first tank. Cash out anytime, right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Download the free Upside app and use promo code 2022 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus or more on your first tank.
To do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. To do more with a Latitude laptop, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
And Brews event. Mark your calendar for Saturday, June 11th. First tasting starts at 11. Second tasting starts at 1:30. The first 300 guests get a free commemorative wine tasting glass and swag bag. There will also be a full-service no-host bar. Stop by and support your local veterans. The event will be held at 3500 Coffee Road in Modesto at the Veterans Foundation of Stanislaus. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com or call 209-480-9309. Go to this station's website now and grab the sweet deal of the week.
We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need, and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money, simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hi, this is Ray with Honey's Air and Solar. On approved credit, you can save money all summer long on your utilities with a new heating and air conditioning system without having to take any money out of your pocket for up to 5 months. Go to honeysair.com to get pre-approved without hurting your credit and book your no-stinger consultation today.
Wanna make your life nice, don't need to think twice. Just go Honey's Air and Solar.
Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Jordan. of Big C Sports. This is Charleston of Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe for me and people who love sports, and that's all that matters. What a beautiful day. Rondo Deportes. Rondo de Mini I love saying welcome to the show. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And you can buy and test drive your Stella Charlton Big C Sports Center, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars on a beautiful June the 2nd, 2022. I want to say there was so much static in yesterday's show. I felt like the UFOs arrived to watch the game one of the NBA Finals. Give UFO some praise, but there were all kind of technical difficulties yesterday. All spread level work, but you can still follow Big C Sports Podcast on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. Oh my goodness, I feel so much energy today. You can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and number 10, Podchaser. I made it to 10 without messing up. Give me some praise for that. But you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast. Oh my goodness. On Geo Japan out of London, England, as well as India. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on Podtail. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Hubhopper. It's amazing. Stitcher, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary, Listen Notes, Podcast-wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast. And the only one that scares me are the UFOs that showed up yesterday on allfeast.ai. Give that some praise. Even had a 4.1 earthquake in Bay Point in the Bay Area this morning. There's a lot of stuff going on. Crazy, but there's a great atmosphere in San Francisco tonight for the, oh my goodness, the game one of the 2022 NBA Finals. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV or you might get interfered with by UFOs. If that makes sense to you. My goodness, I love so much about today. Got the tip-off starting. Oh my goodness. There's so much going on. My show's going to be a little bit shorter today just because of the NBA Finals. But I love paying homage to my family legacy on my beautiful mother's side. Called her Mama, my great-grandmother. She was a beautiful, loving great-grandmother. Really always appreciate her love. And sometimes when she said it, she said, boy, go get me a switch. You know I told you to stay out of your great-granddaddy's barn. Always lots of love and really do appreciate her. And then my great-grandfather called him Pop, former military man, also a former Negro League baseball player. Before people even heard of Jackie Robinson, he would come out of the church with his friends out of that barn and say, let's get ready to rumble. Really do appreciate that. And boys, get out of that barn before lightning strikes, because he really was working on lightning. He was working on so many things. Really do appreciate him. Could fix anything. Just appreciate him. A great-grandfather. And then my beautiful grandmother, called her Mud Dish. She was a seer. She was a beautiful, industrious, beautiful woman. Oftentimes could look at a person, tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. In fact, she even warned me before I got shot. She said, get away. She was already in heaven. And you know how a lot of men are? I didn't get away quite far enough. If that makes sense to you. But I really do appreciate her love, always doing the best she could to keep the family strong. And I still hear from her to this day. Tells me of a lot of things that are happening, and they come true. All friend level war. Really want to say thank you for that. And then my grandfather Hezekiah, just another wonderful person, always doing what he could to keep their family strong. Really do appreciate him. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also helped coach a Little League baseball team, all boys to the championship of the universe. Give mama praise. Come on, a Head Start program, a food program, and coach a Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. The first black woman at that time to do an all-boys baseball team in California to win a championship. Really do appreciate her. Always saying rise and shine. Always rise and shine. You'll hear that a lot tonight in the NBA basketball finals between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. Also, my beautiful father, really do appreciate him. Always saying develop your mind to his highest extent. And he was a former Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, just like the movie Top Gun. Really do appreciate him. And in fact, in the Army, in the Air Force, actually, his roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the movie Malcolm X, written and produced by the great Spike Lee, and acted by my favorite award-winning actor, Denzel Washington. Really do appreciate that. It's like 6 degrees of separation. Dad always said, develop your mind to its highest extent. Really do appreciate him. And then my beautiful brother Todd, with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Always saying go for it. And you'll see tonight what Todd and I talked about all the time when it comes to sports. Like the movie Pulp Fiction, we couldn't pick Scarface because people said it was too violent, but so we settled on Pulp Fiction, which had its own intergenerational drama. But that scene that I want people to pay attention to, you're here tonight in the game. Before the big fight, Vin Rames told Bruce Willis, he said, your butt goes down in the 4th round. Say that, blood. And Bruce Willis said, okay, my butt goes down in the 4th round. And he told him, that stinging sensation you're feeling, that's just pride. Love it with you. And he told him what you made here tonight, love pride. I can't wait until this game starts. It's so exciting. There's no city like San Francisco. I don't care what people say about Paris or New York or Los Angeles or Miami. There's no place quite like San Francisco. It's a great city, all fair, level, war. And then, so I really do appreciate, Todd, all the things we've shared, especially when it comes to sports. And I love paying homage to my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. A college graduate with 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Smart, industrious, intelligent, and hardworking. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Never let anyone come between you and your family. Just really do appreciate Daisy. In fact, Daisy actually helped set up the very first interview with Big C Sports back at Salem Media. In fact, we did such a good job. The NFL started airing NFL Monday Night Football on the Wall Street Business Channel. Some things went awry, and they tried to replace us with mainstream, and the NFL came in and said, fuck pride. And they took it off the air. But Big C Sports is still going strong. Really do appreciate that. She also helped me set up when college coaches would come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. Really do appreciate Daisy. She can do anything. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. A college student, going to be a junior in college, industrious, bright, erudite. Love you, Malcolm, with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Just keep on pushing. Remember, Wakanda forever. Never let anyone become between you and your family. Malcolm actually helped me save trees because I used to always Google my stats from the newspaper. And he said, one day, Dad, why don't you just Google? A lot easier. And a light bulb went off, and I've been Googling ever since. And oftentimes, he sends me stats on NBA basketball all over it, knows it inside and out. Really do appreciate it. As I say, Malcolm, Warriors! Warriors! I really do appreciate everything about your son. You're a great man. Really love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then Big C, with all his wealth of knowledge over the years, like the 1973 Mets, always saying, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. I love giving everybody praise. And like my great granddaddy said, coming out of that barn, he would say, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No scripts, no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear, just a little bit of earwax, and it comes in handy when I'm a little bit low on gas. There's a thing, couple of guys, we were driving across the Bay Bridge, and he had a brand new Mercedes. He was saying how nice the car was. There's like 4 of us in the car, and he had his orange light came on the dashboard, and we all got a little nervous going over the Bay Bridge with an orange light on your dashboard. And he said, don't worry, guys, I still got 20 miles. Gas prices too high in California, be like this, right? I still got 20 miles. Oh, Lord. Be careful. Be careful. I always honor God. I always walk and talk by faith, not by sight. Now, I've been talking to producers and sponsors out there because I always produce the show. I direct all the topics. I broadcast every show. And the sound effects are done by the platform provided by the agency, even though we could all use more laughter in our lives. We do appreciate that. I think the aliens took over yesterday's show because there was so much static. It's like turbulence on an airplane. You can't just stop in midair. That wouldn't be a good outcome. You gotta land that thing. The winds here in San Francisco airport, people understand that. But all's fair and level war. The show must go on. And then the commercials are done, the stats provided, the storytelling. And what we got to hear tonight is Steph Curry 4 3s, Draymond Green 4 3s, Klay Thompson for three. Jordan Poole for three. Andrew Wiggins for three. Gotta hear that for the Golden State Warriors. And I'm sure the good old boys in Boston, they want to hear their own players. I think they have one that they always want to hold up to the highest pedestal. His name is Jason Tatum. All fair to the word. This is a great series. A lot of history in tonight's game. I upload every show goes out to 23 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City and streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms. Really do appreciate that. I even heard some good old boys in the Bay Area trying to emulate the opening of my show. They were quoting Genesis. They were talking about the Bible. And they even had, it's funny, they said, may like me stretch. They say copying is the greatest form of flattery. It's all fair and level work. It's a small world on this side of the world, but I love getting into this game tonight. Just like in Genesis 13, verse 15, it said, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. The book of James, chapter 4, verse 2 said, you have not because you ask not. If you want something, but make sure you ask for it. And Romans 4:17 says, speak things that be not as though they were, and maybe they'll show up. But like what I'm doing tonight, and even with yesterday's shows, when the UFO showed up, it made all the static in the podcast. The show must go on. Gremlins happen every now and then, especially Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about UFOs and the earthquake that hit San Francisco Bay Area this morning. But I'm telling you, no matter what it is, when Moses met God behind my great-granddaddy's barn, because it must have been his house, because there was a burning bush in my great-granddaddy's backyard too. But there's something about public speaking, and a lot of people are afraid of it. Don't be afraid. Be not afraid. In the book of Genesis, actually it was Exodus 4:12, Moses told God, after God said, go down there and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And Moses said, well, who do I tell him sent me? And God said, tell him I am sent you. If that makes sense to you, ask God for praise. A lot of things open up for you. It's been happening for me. And according to Exodus 4:12, when Moses said, I'm kind of afraid, I'm not the best speaker, I get nervous, I miss my words, and what if people don't believe me? Or what if they say I talk too loud? Like Big C Sports. And God said, according to Exodus 4:12, it says, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. That's why I love giving God praise and clapping for God, giving God praise and doing the same thing when I do my own show. And now Big C Sports is syndicated all around the world. Really do appreciate that. I want to give out the PSA for sports betting. Just like people who like to gamble and bet on sports, it's not the smartest thing to do. 800-GAMBLER. If you know anyone going through issues, there are people betting on games. 800-GAMBLER. I'd rather buy lottery tickets, Fantasy 5, Powerball, Mega Million, Super Lotto, whatever it is. Just be careful if you're going to go out there and think that Guido is going to help you get rich on betting on these games. And I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, when God said, let there be light, open your cell phones or electronic devices and just say play Big C Sports Podcast. You'll see the apps pop up all over the world. And I also want to say thank you to our veterans. I really do appreciate giving out our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anyone going through issues, it may even be the person in the mirror. Pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and they will stand on their head to get you some help. Give them some praise. I love giving our first responders praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And I want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching a big game, you want to eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all this exotic meat. And proven has it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand. And I guarantee it, most things in life taste better in your mouth than it does in your hand. Like the Big C coffee, the only complaint, it's Curry. Why does the cup have to be so big? I like big cups, and I cannot lie. Hey, like this, right? Don't bring me a small cup. Everything big is good, if that makes sense to you. I love so much about what's going on tonight, and I really love the NBA Finals. Beautiful downtown San Francisco, about 60 degrees before a tip-off, and so many people all over the sports world are looking into who's going to win this game. The fact is, nobody knows, but Golden State's undefeated at home in the playoffs, and Boston's been beaten a couple of times at home, if that makes sense to you. I'm still going to go with the Golden State Warriors winning this And I'm looking at 6 games and 4 games to 2 for the Golden State Warriors. And that would be this new regime, their 4th NBA championship in their 6th finals appearance in the last 8 years. That's a lot. There are some franchises that haven't been to the finals in the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But Golden State Warriors, they're making it kind of an annual event, and sometimes people don't appreciate how hard it is to do that. When you have so many great players that can oftentimes, because of contract issues, they may not always be able to land on the team they want to land on or play with the team they want to play with. But the Golden State Warriors have done a great job here mixing in young talent with new talent, and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, they've been the reason that Golden State Warriors have been able to right this ship over the years. Really, you got to go back to 2015. This team has been there almost every year except for when they had a lot of injuries last year, missed the play-in tournament, and they lost that game to Memphis at Chase Center. And then they had COVID show up, and that hurt everybody before that. And then obviously when they were in their last finals against the Toronto Raptors, that's when a lot of players got injured. A lot of players got hurt. So that made it almost impossible to get back and win an NBA championship. Durant went down. Klay Thompson, he had a knee issue, tore an ACL. And there were so many other players that were just banged up in that series. But the main person that I look at that's never been injured is Coach Steve Kerr. In fact, Andrea Mala, sports astrology out of the Bay Area, she did a reading on Stephen Curry and Jason Tatum and Steve Kerr yesterday, talked about some things that are going on in their charts. But what I love so much about what happened with Coach Kerr, if you look at his playoff series, of course he's had a lot of tutelage with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls back in the day, learning a lot from him. Also, Phil Jackson was the coach then, went on to and played with the San Antonio Spurs, won a championship there, and the coach Popovich was on that staff, and then coming to San Francisco or Oakland at the time, and just having a lot of success, having a great deal of success, helping the Golden State Warriors do what they're doing now. And that's climb the mountaintop to be the best NBA basketball franchise in the NBA basketball universe. At least currently, they're the best franchise going right now, and they have so much experience in the finals. It'd be hard for them to be knocked off unless 800 Gamblers shows up, shenanigans. And I know we're going to see some of that also in these finals, because that's just how it goes. That's the way love goes, the great Janet Jackson. When I think about game 1 of the 2022 NBA Finals, it's finally here. And like the Golden State Warriors say, we're back. Like Johnny in The Shining, we're back. There's so much star power in the Bay Area tonight. Both the Warriors and the Celtics, they fought hard to earn 12 wins. I would say Miami should, if you look at being accurate, the NBA took away a 3-point basket that would have had Miami with about 17 seconds left with a 1-point lead and forced Jimmy Butler to make a decision, drive the basket on Al Horford or take a 3-point shot. Either way, his foot never touched the line. The NBA should have reversed that. If they reversed something that happened 3 minutes later, they could have reversed something at the end of the game and put the points back on the board for Miami. But they got what they wanted. And I mean, those things happen. But that, to me, was nefarious, and I'm not happy about that. But that's just the way it goes. There are a lot of people in high places that determine what happens in these games. But both teams fought hard to get here. And while they both reached the point of the year in which everybody is dealing with various injuries, players will do what they can to stay healthy and compete for a championship. It's the postseason. It's showtime. And now, fighting out of the East Coast, the Boston Celtics, the Eastern Conference champions, with an asterisk, because Miami should have had a 1-point lead with 17 seconds left. And no one can tell me I didn't see with my own 2 eyes. And now, fighting out of the West Coast, the Western Conference champion, the Golden State Warriors, come out and play. Hopefully, we'll see some of that tonight. And no shenanigans, I'm hoping. I really am so excited about this game. Everybody has their thoughts on who's going to win. All the people that put in all the blood, sweat, and tears over the years. Just a slight list of the injury reports ahead of Game 1 for the NBA Finals. Andre Iguodala has a cervic disc injury in his neck. Gary Payton II, he's questionable. Andre Iguodala, he's questionable also. Otto Porter Jr., questionable with left foot soreness. Everybody has sore feet. especially happy he had to walk to San Francisco because my friend said, hey, I got the orange light on. We got 20 miles left. We could have been walking across the Bay Bridge. Everybody's questionable. My feet are sore too. James Wiseman, he's out because of right knee injury, all-Australian level war. Now the Celtics, they have Robert Williams III. He's questionable with left knee soreness. Everybody has some soreness. A lot of guys, they got to suck it up, put on that hurt no more cream, and see what they can do in tonight's game, all-Australian level war. So the probable starting lineups for game 1 of the NBA Finals for the Warriors, the Western Conference champion Golden State Warriors, for the 6th time in 8 years. Stephen Curry, the guard. Klay Thompson, the guard. Andrew Wiggins, the forward. And Draymond Green, he's the forward, all-Australian level war. And Kevon Looney, the center. What an amazing playoff run Kevon Looney's had. No one really expected this, but he's playing like Wilt Chamberlain back in the day, if that makes sense to you. He's going to have a big playoff series. For the Boston Celtics, they're starting guard Marcus Smart, guard Jaylen Brown, forward Jason Tatum, and then also forward Al Horford. He's up in age, but he put on a little hurt no more. He got out there to play too. And then Robert Williams III as the center, all-Australian level war. I'm looking forward to such a great game, and I feel it's one thing to say that anyone has their right pulse in this game. I know I've been accurate so far. There's a lot of pundits on television right now that had picked Memphis to come out of the West, and then they had picked Phoenix to come out of the West, and they've been so wrong. Some people picked the LA Lakers to come out of the West. If you Google Big C Sports, and when you have sponsors paying $100 million, I was right from start to finish. I said Golden State would win the NBA championship this year, and that means they would win the Western Conference too. And I was right about that. It's not guessing if you're right. There's a lot of people who were guessing, and now they put them on television and they say, well, let me tell you who's going to win. If their hopes had come true, they wouldn't be talking about other teams. They were wrong. So if they can be wrong and make $10 million a year, then give Big C Sport at least $12 million a year, because I've been right about this. All-Australian level war. Now, I will say that I picked Philadelphia to come out of the East and play the Golden State Warriors. But obviously they had some issues as well. And I think that hurt them along the way. Just not having everybody. James Harden didn't play as well as he could have. And Embiid got his eye socket broken, so it's hard to play when you got a broken eye socket. But he sucked it up as much as he could. But all-Australian level war, I feel good about what I do with Big C Sports Podcast because I'm accurate. For the viewers in the United States, you can stream every NBA Finals game live on Sling TV with the Sling Orange Sports Extra package, and they give you that old stuff about how you can get money off, etc. ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, TNT, and NBA TV, the NBA Finals, also simulcast ESPN3. But they're all going to do their thing tonight, like the great Rod Stewart said. Sitting on the dock of the bay. No, that's not Rod Stewart. He's saying, tonight's the night, if that makes sense to you. It's going to be all right. Thursday, June 2nd, 6 o'clock p.m. tip-off. Oh, my goodness, on the West Coast. What a beautiful, beautiful setting at Chase Center. The NBA Finals about to start shortly, and the game will be played at the beautiful Chase Center in downtown San Francisco, just down south of downtown San Francisco, just a couple of blocks from where the Giants played at Oracle Ballpark. I still love calling it Pac-Bell Park, if that makes sense to you. We're on the Pacific Ocean, but Oracle paid more money, so they changed the name. Next year, from what I understand, it may be called Big C Park, if that makes sense to you. Especially to get that funding coming through all-Australian level war. But they have the schedule already. They have the first game, June 2nd tonight. It's on ABC, 9 o'clock tip-off p.m. East Coast time. And then game 2 is scheduled for Sunday on ABC at 8 o'clock p.m. And then they have the next game is June 8th at 9 o'clock p.m. on ABC. That would be game 3. And then June 10th is game 4 at 9 p.m. on ABC, if that makes sense to you. And then if it goes 7, they have June 13th at 9 p.m. on ABC, June 16th, 9 p.m. on ABC. And that's when I predict it's going to end in Boston with the Golden State Warriors winning another championship and Steve Kerr going to 22-2 and his playoff series, if that makes sense to you. Also, I just see so much going on. Golden State can go to 7-5 overall in their NBA championship. I mean, it's just so important. Boston can go to 17-5 by by the time this is over. That's what I'm saying is going to happen. I've been right so far. I may as well hold on now. What do they say back in the day? I guess the great Rod Stewart. I was a 2 Live Crew. Tonight's the night. No, that wasn't 2 Live Crew. My producer's too excited. I'm sure 2 Live Crew sang Tonight's the Night, but they had other things in mind when they sang Tonight's the Night. I look forward to so much happening in the world of NBA basketball, and everybody has their own thoughts about who's going to win and why what team will win. When they talk about Steph Curry, does he have to win an NBA Finals MVP? He's the only unanimous NBA MVP. He's a 2-time NBA MVP. He's a 3-time NBA champion. And I think about what he's done when he came into the league. He had a lot of foot injuries, but he built his body, and he has that moment of, I don't need all the credit. He wants to get his teammates involved. And so there are times when people say, well, Curry should be like all the guys that he beat. He should be like the Joker, shoot almost every time he had the ball. Well, the Joker's watching the NBA Finals also. He could be like John Morant, try to score 47 points in the game. Well, he's also watching the NBA Finals tonight. He could be like Luka Doncic and try to score 45 points in the game. I think Luka's also watching the NBA Finals. There's a lot of guys that try to score in 40 points. But if they're eating all the Big C burgers, they know it's a tasty burger. They know it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? But Steph Curry gets his teammates involved. It's okay to share. What do they say? Sometime you want to go where everybody knows your name. All fair and love and war. In fact, I think about the Boston is known for their best TV series. It's called Cheers with the great Ted Danson. And Ted Danson, he was trying to prepare a meal for the Boston Celtics before they came out to California to take on the Golden State Warriors. And rumor has it that a couple of good old boys from Boston walked into the restaurant, and I think his name was Jason Tatum. And he said, excuse me, Mr. Danson, I'd like to order something to eat before we go off to San Francisco and play in the game. And Ted Danson said, sure, Jason Tatum, what do you want? And he said, how about some clam chowder? And Ted Danson said, clam chowder? We don't serve clam chowder here. And Jason Tatum said, well, I guess I'll go get it in San Francisco. If that makes sense to you. I guess I'll go get it in San Francisco. And rumor has it that the San Francisco, they have the Golden State Warriors, and they were also looking for a chance to get a bite to eat. And there's a restaurant up in the Napa Valley called the French Laundry. And so Steph Curry goes over to the French Laundry, and he says, hey, I'd like to get something before tonight's NBA Finals. And they said, well, you know we have a waiting list, Mr. Curry. And Steph Curry said, do you know who I am? And they said, yeah, but we still have a waiting list. In fact, Governor Gavin Newsom, it took him 8 months to get in here. So Curry said, let me ask you one more time. Can I just get a bite to eat before the game 1 starts at the NBA Finals? And he said, yes. What would you like to eat, Mr. Curry? And he said, how about some spinach? Something green that I can eat and chew and spit out, if that makes sense to you. And he said, Warriors. Okay, that's my joke for the day. I really look forward to all the things that are happening with the world of Big C sports in the NBA basketball championship. So many people love this time of year. We know sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. So many people in the Bay Area are so excited about this game. And I agree. I'm one of them, too. I grew up with it, always been a part of sports, football, basketball, and baseball growing up as a little boy. And then the fact that in their own backyard here in the San Francisco Bay Area, I think about how much sports means to a lot of people. And there are people who want to eat dessert. One of the favorite desserts I can suggest for you is called the Big C's menu, is the Big C pie. It tastes yummy in your tummy, sweet potato pie. You can order the peach cobbler pie or the Big C cherry pie. Big C chocolate fantasy is, ooh yeah, it tastes so good. Or the German chocolate cake, it all tastes so good it makes you want to say, ooh yeah. They lack it. Like, I'm so excited about this game tonight. I haven't even been sleeping. I love sports. I grew up around it. Mom got me involved in it with my brothers growing up and always being a part of it, growing up around professional athletes and just being able to be a part of this. And I feel so grateful to have a podcast where I can talk about it and it's heard all over the world. And I'm so grateful that with Big C Sports, I can grow into anything I want to become, just with the God's favor. That's why I teach to a lot of young kids. Just petition God. All God has to do is say yes. If God says yes, then we're all going to be fine. So just petition that and don't worry about what people say. No matter what people feel about basketball being so expensive, that's the one thing that I don't like. And I know it's big business, but a lot of kids, they love the game. They can't even go. When the cheapest ticket is almost $1,000 and gas is $7 in San Francisco, you got guys with brand new Mercedes-Benz saying, hey, the orange light means I still got 20 miles. They do that on a racetrack in perfect weather, not going over the Bay Bridge, hoping you get to the next gas station. But either way, I just hope that so much happens tonight that makes a lot of people happy about the game that's coming up. And may everybody have a great time, because it's what a lot of people play for. When you think about all the heart and blood, sweat, and tears, they call it blood, sweat, and tears to get into the game. But when you think about it, how many people can really do what they want to do in life? And sports gives people the chance to do that. That's why I love giving athletes a lot of praise, and give everybody that gets their kids involved in sports, give them praise too. They deserve it, because without that, then they would just be out there maybe trying to do something else for entertainment. But it's a great business. It's a great time out. May everybody who's involved in it do whatever you can to get your kids involved in sports, or at least watching it or being around it. It kind of keeps a lot of people out of trouble. I love giving that praise. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, I'm going to talk more about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe, including OTT on 4 TV applications. So as we always heard, the great stroke, what was it, the group from last decade? It was Two Live Crew. They sang, "Tonight's the night." Well, hold on, my producer screwed up. That would be "Tonight's the night." Oh, Fred Leavenworth. But tonight is the night, the great Rod Stewart. Can Coach Kerr outcoach Coach Udoka? Steve Kerr's been with his third franchise in an NBA Finals. The Chicago Bulls, the San Antonio Spurs, and now the Golden State Warriors. Udoka, this is his first test at trying to be an NBA champion as a coach. So experience matters, or does it? We will see. For the Boston Celtics out of the Eastern Conference champions, with a little bit of help of the officials, because I keep it real, they get it. If they put the 3 points back on the clock, Miami probably wins that series. Just look at it. They ended up winning by 4, and Tatum benefited by being here because the NBA helped them out a little bit, just like it was a fumble against the Raiders back in the day. I only speak the facts. Google it if that makes sense to you. Can Jason Tatum come out of his shell and come out to Golden State Warriors, where he knows there's gold in them there hills, and also last night an earthquake in the Bay Area. All Fred Leavenworth. It's only 4.1 on the Richter scale. Richter scale? Yep, just 4.1. Can Smart do his thing? Can he give them what they need offensively and defensively? How about Al Horford? He had a little bit old legs now, and had Butler driven the lane, he probably would have gone in for the dunk. I don't see Golden State being afraid to attack Horford, if that makes sense to you. There's a lot of talk about Boston being big and strong. Well, Boston got beat at home a couple of times by the Miami Heat. They also gave up some home wins to the Milwaukee Bucks. Golden State's undefeated at home. So as far as Golden State not having the size, they were the smaller team against everybody they played. They were smaller against Dallas. They were also smaller against Denver, if that makes sense to you. And they still find themselves here. They were smaller against Memphis. And they still find themselves playing for another NBA championship, the 6-1 and 8 seasons. You got to give that some praise, because they say does size matter? Well, you tell me if that makes sense to you. And when I think about their strength in numbers for the Western Conference champion, the Golden State Warriors, I think about what they've done over the years. 8 times. And they've been here 6 of those 8 under Coach Kerr. All Fred Leavenworth is all led by Steph Curry. Like Jesus at the Last Supper. Curry's like Jesus. He fed everybody. He didn't say, hey, you guys, come and watch me eat. Look at how I eat the Big C burger. I know it's a tasty burger. Look at all this exotic meat. He doesn't do that. He shares the ball with everybody. Everybody gets to eat at the Last Supper for Steph Curry. So I always think about the MVP Is the MVP the guy that scores the most points, or is the MVP really the guy that gets his teammates involved? That's what I love about Stephen Curry. And he honors his father, Dale Curry, by wearing the number 30. That's why he chose the number 30 for the jersey. His father, Dale Curry, also wore number 30 as an NBA player. Also, there's another guy they call him 6-game Clay. But he was game 5 Clay against Dallas. Klay Thompson. Is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Harrah Club this morning? Yes, he's a good old boy. The only time in the last 8 seasons that Golden State did not make it to the NBA Finals really is when Klay Thompson was injured. Think about that. He was injured in the game against the Toronto Raptors. I think it was game 6. Came down off of a dunk and tore his ACL. And he still came back and shot a free throw. He's a tough guy. He's put up with a lot of hard rehab, and he's really, really proud of him, and the team loves him too. Draymond Green's like the Bay Bridge that we almost run out of gas trying to get across because my friend said, hey, the orange light means we still got 20 miles to go. Oh, Lord, we're not on the test track getting those numbers. So Draymond Green obviously brings a lot of the emotion, the heart and soul of the Golden State Warriors. So looking for him to always have a big game. And then Andrew Wiggins. Why did Minnesota let him go? Purple rain, purple rain. Why did they let him go? He was a first-round draft pick. He's playing like an all-star again. And remember, he made the all-star game this year, Andrew Wiggins. And he's playing like he could go to any team and become a star. He's had his mojo. He's got his mojo back. You know why? Because Steph Curry gets everybody involved. They all know Steph Curry is the main staple for the Golden State Warriors. They built the team around him. And that meant that because he doesn't have a big ego, now he has a lot of passion. He has a lot of passion. Some people say his passion like lightning, but you can't always see it because he plays under control. I got to learn to do that myself, if that makes sense to you. So I think with Wiggins coming out here, finding a lot of love and support from the Golden State Warriors in the way they play team ball. And then I think Kevon Looney grabbed 18 rebounds in a game against Dallas. And Luka Doncic. The media built up Luka Doncic. They won one game against Golden State. That was back in Texas after a tragic happened down in the state of Texas. I don't even want to get into that. But everybody heard about the speech that Coach Kerr made. But Golden State Warriors, they're a team. And then you have Jordan Poole. Isn't that something? You know, the last time when you think about Coach Kerr, when he won his first championship, he had a guy named Jordan on his team. It was Michael Jordan. Now he has a new guy that's going to splash some water on some people in this playoff series. His name is Jordan Poole, if that makes sense to you. There's so much going on in this series. I know they last played in 1964, and I think about all the great Boston Celtics that I've talked about over the years. Havlicek inbounds the ball to Russell. Russell throws the ball up to McHale. McHale over to Larry Bird. Larry Bird over to DJ. Dennis Johnson over to Kevin Garnett. Anything's possible. Kevin Garnett up to Jesus Sutherland. Jesus Sutherland over to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum gets his shot blocked. If that makes sense to you. Look, pride. I am so excited. I'm so excited I even took a shower last night. And even though all the water in them there hills in San Francisco, I still took a shower because I'm excited for this game. If you ever took a shower because you're excited, give that some praise. You know, some men don't take showers. Don't let the smell fool you. Some guys just spray on cologne. Well, you don't smell like you even wash your neck. Guys walk around cologne, act like they took a shower. Oh, Fred Leavenworth, I tell you, what a great night. What a great setting in San Francisco. There's golden dim there hills. The Chase Center should be electric. There's so much energy. Even Almighty God of the universe wanted to see the game. There was an earthquake in San Francisco Bay Area this morning, 4.1 on the Richter scale. Might be a few aftershocks, but nothing new for Californians. All Fred Leavenworth. It might just feel like a Steph Curry for 3. Klay Thompson for 3. Andrew Wiggins for 3. Jordan Poole for 3. Isn't that something? Boston has a chance because the NBA helped them get here. That's my opinion, and no one's going to deter me from that. That's why I say 800 gambler, and I feel sorry for the Miami Heat, and nobody's talking about that from me. But me, they took 3 points off the scoreboard because they said a guy stepped out of bounds, and when they showed it on camera, the back of his foot was not even on the line. Did they go back and correct that? No, they did not. Or did they? All's fair in love and war. I'm telling you, everybody, be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. If you know anyone who's going to drink, please don't let them drive. Take away the keys. Call Uber. I know some people want to spend the night in jail. They just roll that way. But don't let it be you or anyone you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. It's game 1 of the 2022 NBA Finals. And may the Warriors, or the Celtics, put on a good display of basketball for the NBA. And may the best team win. You already know where my heart lies. I want to say it back in the day. There's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, just like the Golden State Warriors, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because all these big cheeseburgers take me out of my feet. All's fair in love and war. I'm looking forward to some great things happening in tonight's ball game. I really do appreciate it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that crap, pick up the phone and call 911 because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as I always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. The great Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive.